Hey guys, this is Jordan Jager, Remax Realty Professionals. Today on this recorded Zoom, I have John Clanton of King Rentals Property Management. They obviously, per the name, they do property management and they focus on short-term rentals. So John, if you would, just tell us about your company.
Yeah, we are a property management company based out of Nashville, Tennessee. We manage right now about 90 properties. The bulk of those are in Nashville. I'd say about 73, I think, right now. Our next largest market is in the Smoky Mountains, Gatlinburg, Sevierville, Cosby area. Our next markets are all, we have about 2 to 5 houses in each of those markets. We have Gulf Shores, Alabama, Center Hill Lake in Tennessee, Lake Barkley in Cadiz, Kentucky, and then we have one in Huntsville, Utah, Ski Town. So we kind of manage most of our stuff remote from our Nashville location. In our bigger markets, we have boots on the ground in those markets, but really we just try to, find the key people, the cleaners and the maintenance man, handymen that we can rely on, 24/7. So, yeah, our main focus in property management is to keep our guests happy, keep the communication clear between all of our subs that we use, the cleaners, the handymen, and so forth. Yeah, so our goal is just to keep on growing. If the house is a good house, we pretty much can manage it anywhere in the world, as far as I'm concerned. So
Nice. And how long have you guys been doing this operation?
Um, we're coming up on year 3 this July, July 5th, I believe. That's how long I've been in it. Well, actually, I was in it probably another year and a half prior to us starting this company. Um, and my partner Shay, he's more on the pricing, and really he has the most experience. He's been in the business for about 8 years now. So
Awesome. And what would you say your goal for your company is in the next decade? How big do you want to aim to get? What markets do you want to see yourself enter? That kind of
yeah,
thing.
we actually did like a 10-year goal at the beginning of this year. We did a 10-year, a 3-year, and a 1 year. I think our 10-year goal had us around 500 properties total. Um, I can't recall what the gross sales were, but that was the 500 properties total. The goal would be that we'd have more control of our cleaners. We'd have more in-house cleaning, maybe our own in-house cleaning facility, at least in those markets where we're established, like Nashville, where it makes sense. Um, yeah, and really just to scale at a correct way where we were really outsourcing the jobs that are more efficient to be outsourced, such as a handyman service or virtual assistants. Where we've learned a lot in the past year to try to clean up and be more efficient in what we do, while also concerned about the bottom dollar. So, and our clients' bottom dollar as well. So,
Yeah, no, that's a great answer, man. And I guess what drew you into the business? What attracted you to this? Because again, so many people are out there and they're like, oh, hey, I want to go buy a property. I want to do an Airbnb,
yeah.
VRBO. And they obviously probably underestimate the actual work of it. They just think it's passive money. What would you say on that comment?
Yeah, I would say, I mean, what drawn me in was my first house that my wife and I bought. We renovated it, sold it 5 years later, made a good chunk of money. Then we bought some land. I subdivided the land myself, and kept what we needed left. And then we built our own custom home. So we kind of went through that whole process of selecting things, designing things, trying to also find ways to save money in different areas. We worked with a builder that was really great that allowed me to kind of put my hands involved and buy my own subs in certain spots. And really after that, I was just like, I love real estate. I love putting it together, figuring out the finance side, the design side. Um, that kind of got us started. And after that, I'm like, I know just about all the ins and outs of building a house. Obviously, I don't want to be a GC myself, but it was just cool to see that happen.
Yeah.
As soon as we moved into our new house, I actually immediately borrowed against our house with a HELOC. And Shay and I bought my aunt's cabin that was in the Smokies. And that one started off taking off really well. Next thing you know, we bought the second one from her. The second one, we renovated it. I think we put like 30 grand into this small cabin. We renovated it in 17 days straight. So we had immediately flipped it. they were collecting, I think, $400 or $500 long-term rent in an older 20-year-old place at the time. We put, 30 grand in this place. Within the first month, they rented for $4,000.
Wow.
So after that, it kind of started clicking. I'm like, I like this, and I kind of had a vision for putting together the pieces right, basically, and that's kind of where I think I prefer them the most, is the ones that need the work, the ones that you can polish and turn into something, and you can really create a equity there, by turning that around yourself versus buying it completely turnkey.
Yep.
So, and I think that's where we come into place, where we can really help clients. A lot of these property management companies, obviously they're managing your property, but they're not in on the front end. Like, where if you're a buyer property, can they help you like with the vision of how to change it, or the design, or does it have to be turnkey, or will they only take the property if it's a certain look and way and so forth at the beginning. So to me, the ones that are a project are actually fun, and it really benefits the homeowner the most, because they can create added value from the beginning on the front by doing a little work. Now, I don't mean by sweat equity. I meant by, literally taking a house that is outdated 20 years, but has good bones, or it's in a good location and a good market, and, them willing to take it on. I'll help them, assist them, hire a contractor where they can come in, redesign the home, and add value, right? So where you could add value in a couple of months, where it could have took you 5 years to create, by doing a little bit of work there on just the really just mental work. And we're not asking for sweat equity, but yeah, I think that's where we can help out a lot. But we can also take them turnkey and make things about as easy as investors want it to be. So in this business, there's so many different angles you can go about it. Whether you're buying a rehab, whether you're buying multiple units and you don't even have time to discuss or deal with it, we can handle it all. We could bring in our designer, set the house up. All we need is a few documents from you, and then it can be as hands off as you want it to be. So, I guess the latter part of your question, to answer that, is, yeah, I think some people, it's a great idea on paper, buying a vacation home, and then they'll just manage it, on their free time. When people want to come stay at the house or whatever. The only problem is, this is just like the hospitality business is, 24/7. You in theory are going to have people there possibly every day of the year. And to at least, our hours are 8 a.m. to 10 p.m. And I think that's pretty fair. We're trying to expand that with using some virtual assistants. But yeah, you're around the clock, available. We expect our staff to reply to any concern, inquiry, or whatever within 5 minutes. And that's just how the nature of the business, unless you want to miss out on opportunities or lack on customer service. So, yeah, we're big on customer service. That's our number one priority, is taking care of the people, and being a good host. And I think that leads to a lot of the reason why I'm drawn to this business. I like hosting people. I like having people in my house, or I have investments myself that we share our homes with other guests. It's a nice thing to have. I think when you have something nice and being able to share it with people is a luxury, and to be able to capitalize and make a monetary value out of it and pay for the house itself, and then also put cash in your pocket. To me, it's a dream situation.
No, absolutely. And to that point, you've described what types of properties and angles you guys take that other groups don't, with the short-term rental management. How would you describe your ideal investor? What do you guys look for in an investor in that partnership when you guys decide that you want to work with somebody?
Yeah. I would say our ideal investor is somebody that is open to suggestions, is open to our opinions. We can, put ideas off each other, right? We can brainstorm. They know that this is a very great business, right? When you rent a long-term rentals, for example, like in this particular neighborhood, that you should expect on a 4-bedroom, 3-bath, that you should expect rents between $2,400 and $3,000, depending on the finishing, right? It's pretty close. Like, it's kind of black or white there, what you're getting. In this business, it's nothing like that. So that, I think the expectation at the beginning, like them just to know the business they're getting to, like nothing is black and white. We can try to make things as clear as we can, but at the end of the day, it doesn't always make sense. For example, you can have a 4-bedroom, 3-bath in Nashville, It can be set up where we think it's, great, whatever. I mean, you can literally list the difference in pricing. Like one house could do $3,000, and then literally the neighbor next to it identically could be doing 8,000. So it really just comes down to the details to get the difference there. It's whether your bed count, what type of beds do you have in there? Are they always breaking? Are they cheap? Are they structurally sound? How they're laid out, the design of the home itself,
Mhm.
the photos. The photos are a big thing. I would see listings all the time where people will literally take photos for their listing on a camera phone, and that's their listing. And they'll do good or okay, and obviously it's good enough for them. They normally the time that's a self-managed property that's underperforming, and I can tell you just because of the photos, because this business it's photos and reviews to bring the guest in, right? So if your photos are poorly shot and don't represent your house in a good way, I mean, some photos can make your house look better than it even is. That's what we want. You're showing off to the public. This is what the potential of your stay could be, right? So the
Right.
pictures have to be perfect, and the reviews have to back it up. Which the reviews typically come from good customer service and that the listing matches what the actual house is, right? You don't want to have this beautiful looking house online and show up and all the furniture's been changed out, and there's dents in the walls and so forth. So yeah.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. And no, I mean, yeah, everybody everybody thinks they could probably self-manage properties, and then they find out the hard way. Just like in my world in real estate, they think they can sell their house, and they think they understand contracts. They think, they have a real estate, license, or, they probably know more than the attorney sometimes. And obviously, we always say people do a FISBO once, and then
Yeah.
they learn, honestly, there's a reason these people exist, these careers exist, and they say, I really probably should do that,
You know, I'm in this business and I know the ins and outs of it, but I wouldn't be the best at managing my listing 24/7. One, I just don't. I want to spend time with my family, and if you're a family person and you're trying to operate and run your STR home, all on your own, or even with your husband, I mean, at no point can you just disappear for 4 hours and expect there not to be a consequence. Where you missed a booking, or you didn't respond to a guest for 3 hours because the hot water wasn't working. There's going to be issues, right? And I mean,
Mhm.
I'm a firm believer that if I'm not an expert in something, I would rather just stick in my lane doing what I do best and pay people to do the things that I'm not really efficient at, right? Because it's going to work out that way, majority of the time. I mean, there are some hosts that I've met in the past that they just truly enjoy it. Typically that's like a retiree, and they have a house that they share, or a house on their farm or whatnot. I mean, I get that. They're doing it more for the pleasure and they want to make a few bucks. But if you're in this business to really have a vacation home or not have a vacation home and really get your best ROI, you're better off, bringing in someone like me. I mean, the easy example I put it on is if a person could do it themselves and make $80,000, right? Because of their lack of professionalism or whatnot. Typically, a company like us can come in and do it for at least the 100K mark, which after you take out our management fee, it gives you the same amount of money, except you spend zero time on taking care of guests,
Yeah.
Uh, so to me, your freedom, your time is worth everything. So I can manage my own houses, but I would never do it. I've considered it just to think, oh, well, like I can do it. My wife and I could do it, but our time's just worth more than that. I mean, to never be able to not look at your phone is worth a lot, right? Most people, they're a W-2 employee. When they're done at 5 or 6 p.m., they want to be officially done. They're not
Mhm.
trying to stare at their phone until they lay their head on their pillow at 10 p.m. So there's that.
Yeah, no, I mean that's fantastic point. And you know, um, yeah, a lot of this stuff people, I think we overestimate our free time sometimes, and we undervalue the time until you're up against a wall, and they're like, oh yeah, I probably should hire this out or let someone else do this.
We yeah, we just got a client recently who had managed his properties the last 3 years, I think. But
Mhm.
his job allowed a lot of flexibility, so he didn't mind it. However, he just got a new job that required a higher demand of him, and more hours. So he found us, and that's how we connected, because he's like, "Look, I don't got time for this anymore." So we just boarded him on a month ago in Gatlinburg. So that one's picking up pretty good. And I mean, and it's nothing against him or how he was doing it or anything, but of course, when he sent me his listing, there were several things that I could pick apart, that I knew from us as a professional, things that we're looking at every day. Like he needed better photos. He needed to change the paint colors here. He needed to pressure wash the deck. He needed to replace the hot tub cover. There's just a laundry list of items.
Yeah.
And part of the reason this guy didn't live in the Smokies, right? He was managing it from afar, doing good enough. But we could pick apart his listings, create a maintenance list, 20 items long immediately, things that really should have already been done in the first place, but he only had a cleaner there. So it's the same thing with the cleaner. You can't expect the cleaner to do the maintenance items. She or he stays in their cleaning lane and takes care of the cleanliness of the house. And you got to have maintenance people for the maintenance, right? Like you got to keep everyone doing what they excel at best to keep up with those certain things, right? So, and what we do is facilitate all of that, right? We onboard the client, we help them get the house together in the right position, we take photos of it, we create the listings, we get the guests to stay at the houses, we take care of the guests when they're there, we make sure it's clean, we make sure it's maintained properly, and at the end of the month, we send our owners money that hopefully is good enough for their expectations or their ROI goals.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's full service management that you've described. So now anyone who sees this video and wants to get in touch with you because they do realize, hey, maybe I need some help here with management, what's the best way for them to reach you?
I mean, they can reach me on my cell. My cell phone number is 615-975-2157. It's on, I think, our website. And I send a newsletter once a week too that's got properties for sale in the markets we're already managing in. We will manage in different markets. We had a guy reach out to me this week. He's purchasing a new build right outside of Fall Creek Falls in Middle Tennessee. And all we got to do is line up a great cleaner and a good handyman, and the rest of it we can facilitate. So yeah, you can reach out to me on my cell phone, email john@krstays.com. But yeah, both of those are good. And yeah, I'm available to help. I love this business. That's kind of why I just kind of limped into it too. For me, I got to the point where, I had some extra money that I wanted to invest, and I always enjoyed real estate. And with this business particularly, I enjoy vacations. So normally you're going to have people that A, enjoy vacations, or B, enjoy money that they're not having to actually work it to, return an investment, So with this, you can do both. So, I mean, I always tell people it's like this, like with this business, you invest the money into a home, right? It's a long-term investment that is about as good as any of them over the long term. Regardless if you make no cash profits on a daily basis, it's a great long-term investment. Number two, it's hopefully it's a vacation home, somewhere that you like to travel to, and your family can go there once, twice, 5 times a year, and you guys aren't technically paying for it. Hopefully the rents are coming in paying for the house, and you're not ever having to cut a check. It's always being paid by rental income. And then the good ones, which is our ideal house, is that there's somewhere they're bringing in like a 7 to 15% cash on cash return, meaning that after all the bills are paid, after the principal's paid, everything, you're bringing home cold hard cash every single month, or not every month, but on average, you're bringing home cash. So granted, a lot of that return on investment is in your principal payment, right? So when I mean cash on cash, meaning that you literally, after paying all bills each month, you're taking home money. So yeah, that would be the perfect house and the perfect goal. A lot of our investors, their goal isn't just to build short-term cash from these properties. It's just they make enough on their W-2 job or their companies, and they don't have much time, but they have money that they got to invest somewhere. So they're literally just looking for it as like a long-term investment, similar situation where they're just looking to invest their money into it, and over the 10, 20-year period, it's just going to pay for itself and more. That's their goal. So I don't know. I kind of like to look at this business as, there's really 3 ways right there, right? You got your long-term investment, you got your vacation usage, and you have your short-term cash that hopefully you're making money on the short term as well. So
yeah, no, that's an awesome point, man. And guys, whoever sees this video, obviously we'll provide John's contact information at the end. Again, reiterate phone number, email, website link, everything there. Also, so you guys know, any investor who does get in touch with me or with John, I'm fairly well versed in 1031 exchanges. I know some QIs in the area who can help us facilitate that if that's part of your purchase process. I also have a contact who can help with self-directed IRAs and using that cash, in a SDIRA in a purchase like this too. So we can collaborate here and bring in a full team of people to help you guys on all your investment needs, short-term, long-term, whatever they may be. And yeah, just want to thank you for your time, John. Thanks for doing this with me.
Yeah, absolutely. It's always good catching up, and